Thrombophlebitis. This is a blood clot that happens in the veins and causes inflammation. So what happens is you get a hole in your endothelium, which causes instant vasoconstriction to your vein. What happens next is you get platelets that adhere to the, like where you had the hole, and then they're gonna recruit more platelets and kind of form a plug. After that, you're gonna activate your clotting factors, which are gonna form like a hard clot over where the platelets were. And as the clot grows, you're gonna have decreased blood flow and increased blood pressure. Three things that can cause this is slowed blood flow in general due to like inactivity, like bed rest, or hypercoagulation, which could be caused from medication, surgery, genetics, or damage to the blood vessels, so like infections, chronic inflammation, toxins. This usually happens in the lower leg. It causes lots of pain, swelling, redness, warmth, and it's usually in the superficial veins of the leg.
So progression would be deep vein thrombosis, which is in the deep venous system. The thrombophlebitis is just in the superficial. It has the same pathogenesis where a clot will form due to a break in the vein, and then the deep vein thrombosis incidence rate is going to be 1 per 1,000. It commonly affects white men over 60, the obese individual, and those who are sedentary. The DVT is more serious than the thrombophlebitis because this can break loose and go into a pulmonary embolism. Just to compare thrombophlebitis and DVT, thrombophlebitis only occurs in the superficial veins, and the superficial veins rely on the valves to move blood, whereas in a DVT, which is in the deep system, it relies on muscle contraction to move the venous blood, which is why there's a higher incidence of this breaking loose, and it is a lot more serious. And a lot of the times DVT cannot be recognized. The individual doesn't even know that they have it.
So the most common cause of a DVT is the most common cause of a pulmonary embolism. So what happens is that blood clot from the legs moves up into the inferior vena cava, and then it enters that right atrium through that right ventricle, and then that blood clot then gets pumped through those pulmonary arteries into the lungs. And the pulmonary arteries anatomy is they start larger, and as they go, they get smaller and smaller. So eventually that blood clot is going to get stuck in those arteries. And so in the lungs here, because most of our perfusion due to gravity goes into the lower area of our lungs, that is where most of these pulmonary embolisms are going to occur. So once that blood clot gets stuck, what's going to happen is you have no perfusion, but you're still getting ventilation. So then what you're going to have is dead space. And so that blood flow that's supposed to go in this area is then going to go get distributed in other parts of the lungs, causing a VQ mismatch. And so eventually with like a VQ mismatch and the way the bloods move, this could cause cardiac arrest. And the incidence of this happening is 1 or 2 per 1,000, causing 60,000 to 100,000 deaths per year.